Cool. Oh, there we go. Oh my gosh. There we go. Vortexing all the metallic colors here. There we go. Got that. What's the other colors we need today? We need the orange, some of the LED blue, a little bit of that color. Alright. So, yeah, we're going to be doing these 3 miniatures today, and it really shouldn't be too difficult. It's just going to be us jumping around, obviously doing multiple parts of an equation at the same time, and it shouldn't be too crazy. I mean, I have faith in everybody out there, but hey, World Edit, hey, Nomad, how's everybody doing today? We'll go ahead and wait a little bit before getting started, as per usual, as people trickle in. Trickle in. But I hope everybody had a good little weekend. I feel like mine blew by out of nowhere. My Twitch says 0 people are watching. I know that's not true. I guess my browser's not updated.
It's gotta give it a second. Twitch doesn't update very quickly.
Oh yeah, all of a sudden it's like, okay, now you got 18 people. Oh wow. All at once.
Yeah, that's how it works, right? Just all 18?
Yeah, they just boop, bring them in groups. Let's see if I miss anything over here. Alright, so I guess I'll take this and paste it. Boop, boop. Sure, why not? Alright. Well, first thing we're going to do is let's just go ahead and base coat the easiest thing of the day. So I'm going to take intense brown. You guys at home obviously can use whatever brown you want. It's not going to make a difference in your life or the miniature, but I'm going for sort of a middle-of-the-road lighter brown, which is why I chose intense brown in the first place. And then I was talking with Collins as well about our kits moving forward in the future. I don't see a need for us at all to do another core color kit because I'm literally gonna pick a slightly different black and a slightly different brown. You see what I'm saying? So for those of you that have the core colors, or for those of you that haven't had them and you've been wondering if you're gonna have to get, you know, a different one in the future, whatever the case is, I really wouldn't worry about it. Just go ahead and get that same core palette if you want to have all the same colors all the time, and you should be okay. I mean, we use almost at least 2 colors every single time, like clockwork. We always are using Noir Black, and we're always using, obviously, Intense Brown, the metallics constantly, the white, so, you know, I think we definitely get our utility out of it. But, like I said, we're just going to base coat this. You may have to do 2 coats. I didn't zenithal anything today because we're working with metallic paint. If you did zenithal your stuff in preparation, not a big deal. You'll actually probably get better detail on your torture table than I am, but I'm just doing everything in the same color. What's nice about what we're doing today, you know, we're really not highlighting anything up necessarily on the wood other than the rope itself. But we'll base coat this, and then we'll move on to base coating everything else. What is up, Shadow, Chewy, Cheese, Gurgi? Okay, Gurgi. And Jedi. How's it going, guys? Guys, gals, and gadgets. I've got the ReaperCon kit on the table today. Whoops. That, of course, comes out after the Undead kit, which you guys haven't seen yet. But that's finished, too. I actually don't know when I'm allowed to show that, but... Oh, I guess I can now, since we're starting this kit. I suppose I'll share that later today. I know a lot of you were excited about that. Let's see. Is the black thumbnail a fashion statement? Oh, Shadow, you must not watch my show. It's just it's airbrush primer. It's it's easy to wash off your. It's easy to wash off, and actually you can see a little bit right here. But since I hold the miniature in my left hand with I airbrush, or when I airbrush, so it gets all over my hand. But it I have to scrape it off of my fingernail. It doesn't just wash off like it does on your hands. But yeah, I almost always have a weird color on my thumbnail. Usually, like last week, I did a bunch of stuff using color shift paint, so I had like a weird metallic almost the entire week. And then today, priming these miniatures. Actually, I primed a ton of stuff. Not just these all at the same time, but... Underside, I don't really care as much about, but of course I can't ever pick the correct amount of paint to put out on a palette. It's true usual form. There we go. And I'm just holding kind of the little turny bits there, the little stretch controller. Whatever the proper name is for the... I don't know, is it just a pulley? I don't know. It's not a lever. A dial?
Stretchy bits? I like that.
The stretch-a-merator. And then I am going to do a more of a solid coat. Yeah, world edit. So, Justin, do you want to, I guess, let people know about this kit? Since world edit was missing a miniature.
Yes. We had a bit of, I think the initial run was missing that. We don't know why, but we are in the middle of fixing them. But since you did encounter that issue, I believe it's help at Reaper Mini. Oh, they can't hear me apparently.
How is that even possible? I am so tired of this I can't hear Justin business. Okay, so we'll drop that way down there if you want to try again, Justin. I can't tell the difference. So, like, for me, I hear the same thing no matter what. So it's just going to be up to them to let us know if they can hear you. But yeah, so, I mean, he's saying if you encountered that issue, because a lot of you are going to encounter that issue, depending on when you put your order in, definitely just reach out to help@reapermini.com, and they will send a new one in the mail. I wouldn't worry too much. You've got 2 weeks until we paint that miniature, so you should be okay. They'll definitely get it to you in time. In prime time. Maybe that was just a troll on my end. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, what's funny is, like, so I have this volume set to 1 on the music, and then OBS, I have it now set to quite a bit. So now, Justin, say something.
Testing, audio, testing.
It should be way louder.
Testing.
Yeah. Alright.
There we go.
So, now the next color we're going to do is we're going to coat our bowls. We're using Ruby Red. Ruby Red, if I can actually say it. It is a metallic color. Just a really cool metallic red. Has some gold tone in there, some red flake, I am sure. I'm just going to grab a big old dang brush to do this with. And we are pretty much working with like nothing but metallic paint today. And we're making washes out of metallic paint. I know, it's crazy, it's blasphemy. But do keep that in mind. So if you have brushes that you care to keep metal flake free, if you have problems cleaning it afterwards, just use a different brush today or a bigger brush. But I'm going to go ahead and coat everything on the bull except for the horns, the hooves, and then the ridges down the back. You'll see there's like 2 extra rows of ridges here. We're keeping those separate just for some visual variance. But I like this color. It's kind of dull. It isn't like in your face bright red, which for a metallic I would think would look kind of strange. But I figured, you know, in a kit where we can do a Red Bull, it should be pretty funny to be able to do that. And I am going to add a little bit of water to this metallic paint here. What's nice about this one, you can add some water to it. You won't get any sort of the strange pigment separation that you get from some of the other metallic Reaper paints, mostly because there's so much red pigment in this, and the color of the flake is all the same, so you know you'll just get nice smooth application of the metallic and not like a runny semi-transparent application of the metallic. Learned that when I was painting this guy. Yeah, so we have the ReaperCon kit coming up. That one's really cool because it will start on the very first, or well, it starts obviously on a Monday, but it's the last. The very first miniature is the very last day of ReaperCon, and I think it's like the last bit of doodly-doo that is happening before the send-off. So that'll be cool. It'll be like the last little deal that you can sit and paint during the ReaperCon line, I suppose, is the term. So that'll be fun, and I'll make that announcement as to what we'll be painting. I guess when we start the Undead kit, you'll see those images, since they always happen a month ahead. But so that's exciting. And then I did listen to all of your feedback that you gave me for the next, well, we are confirming, and I'm doing the color palettes today for the next 2 quarters worth of miniatures. So we've got 6 more months worth of kits, 24 miniatures planned out, and then beyond that I have to plan out quarter 2 relatively soon, I believe next month, of 2021. But definitely listen to all of your ideas. I know some people suggested ninjas, and I've definitely hit that note. A lot of people had requested sort of alternate stuff in terms of like, can you do a chronoscope kit? Can you do yada yada yada? So I'm hitting all the bells for all the suggestions that people wanted. We've got some very interesting themes. I definitely was searching through all the kinds of weird things I can pull, and you know, we've got like a farm kit, which is really funny. Definitely, I don't think anybody can guess what's actually in the farm kit. And then we do have a zombie apocalypse kit, and that one's going to be a complete challenge or not really a challenge, but it's going to be a change of format for the way that we tackle all the stuff that's included with that. Trying to think what else fun stuff we've got. We've got a sort of like a Far East kit as well. And then we've got, I'm trying to think some of the other stuff. We did come up with a holiday kit I think will be really cool. I'm trying to think. We've got like I said, you know, I definitely went the chronoscope route, so we've got some cool things there. One kit that got benched to make a change for the holiday kit, which I still think we should go back and do a pirate kit. Well, we've got the ReaperCon kit, so you already know that's a pirate kit. But I did have to table Cowboys versus Aliens, so I'm sorry. That would have been the Christmas kit, so I'm very sorry. Cowboys versus Aliens may exist quarter 2 of 2021 if you guys are interested in that. But that was sort of like the weirdest kit that I put together. But yeah, so we've got that squared away whenever it happens. Alright, so now that we've done the base coat there, I'm also going to use the same color, and we're going to do all of the panels on the Iron Maiden. So I'll go ahead and get that coated with horses. With horses. Yes, alien horses. You got it. You got that figured out. Alright, so same ruby red channel. Don't feel too bad if you get it on, you know, the little buttons here or across that bar in the center. We're just taking our base coating easy peasy right now. We're going to go back with skeleton key on everything else. Skeleton key is such a cool color. Quite literally cool, as in it is a cool tone, cool temperatured metallic. And then we're going to make it even colder because guess what? We're making a wash out of one of the metallic paints today. Goodness, goodness. It's this super dark color here, the gunmetal blue, which is like a super dark blue metallic, which can be fun for those of you that want to do, you know, true metallic metal shadows to make things super bright, so that way you're not dulling down any of your metallic work that you're doing, because obviously that happens when we apply our noir black washes, anything else like that. Alright. Cool, let that dry. So now then, on to our next metallic, which is skeleton key. So I'm gonna go ahead and give mine a whirl. See if I missed anybody here. Hey, Princess Trunks. Hey, Alpha. Let's see who else is here. Hey, Image. What's up, Tromahawk? Oh yeah, I did answer you. Hey, Umbro. Thanks for the Twitch Prime. Remember, if you are a Twitch Prime subscriber, that you need to double check when you have to reactivate it. Of course, you can get Twitch Prime and a sub for free using your Amazon Prime subscription. Just click that subscribe button and link it to your Amazon account. Alright. So, taking our skeleton key, let's go ahead and do this guy first. Let those areas dry. We're going to go ahead and hit the horns, the hooves, and the ridge down the back. Skeleton key has pretty good coverage. The horns we may need to do 2 coats just because it's a nice smooth surface to get a nice even coverage there. But it shouldn't be too bad. I mean, you can see we have pretty good coverage there. Directly on top of black. If you zenithal, you'll probably be okay. And with one layer, sorry. I haven't eaten today yet. Alright, I sort of did. I had Soylent for breakfast, but I had some stomach issues last night, so I didn't really sleep all that well. So I was leery to eat lunch too early today. I've got my adult Pedialyte in my cup next to me. I'm trying to come back to life. Alright, so remember, we've got these 2 ridges on this side, and I believe it's actually 3 rows on the other side. See how they have that sculpted in separately? But, so we've got all those kits this weekend on Patreon. We are painting up the Skywing Infiltrator. I forget what the term was. Oh, Intimidating. So the class this weekend is painting intimidating colors. So we're going to be doing lighter tones like white, some yellow, things like that. Try and help people tackle colors that they would typically be afraid of. But that'll be a fun lesson as per usual. This Wednesday, of course, we've got another one of the long-term King of Hell Bone Mini box art paint-alongs. We've been doing that. I think we're going to be on our 7th episode. And we've done pretty good progress. Really, we're starting the skin this week, so I know that's going to be a lot of fun for people. Let me see. Yellow is your personal nightmare. It's not hard. Yellow can be so easy if you just put the right color beneath it. It's not hard at all. Same with white. Really, any light color. It's all it's, you know, really the difficulty you have is in preparing your surface for that color. It's really the only trick to it. Then this weekend as well, I did set up the email sign-up, the early access sign-up for the Hobby at Home classes that are going to be releasing soon as well. I know I've talked about them at least to the Patreon people and sort of briefly here on the Miniature Monday show. But if you are interested in that, you will get an email a week ahead of time. You're actually getting it the same time as patrons for all of the release information. Those classes will begin to go on sale the first week of August, with the first Hobby at Home class happening the third week of August. And then, of course, as with all of my stuff, if you miss the class itself, it's cool. It's recorded. It doesn't go anywhere. You're not going to like miss out on something you paid for. And then those classes are also going to be available, the videos, for sale for people that didn't get the kit, because there are only 10 spots available per class, so it's not just a generic thing. I only sell 10 at a time. And you'll be able to follow along at home. It'll be much, much cheaper. The class will be super cheap in comparison to the class that you're purchasing with the miniature. But all of that will be available. Those, again, are the... I don't even know the best way to describe them other than they're like the highest quality at-home instruction you can possibly buy out there. Nothing else is like it. So if you're interested in that, make sure to go to Mini Painting Studio /ha, but HAH, Hobby at Home, and you can get registered to get that information. I've already got 38 people that have verified their emails for that. So if I had to guess, since patrons get the ability to pre-order the class ahead of anyone else, if I had to make a guess here, unfortunately the first one may sell out. Now it's 2 classes a month whenever they start happening, but I'm assuming that first release is going to be sold out before the general public has access to it. So getting on that email list is going to be your best way. And I'll also be able to do some other stuff like poll you guys for what classes should be released next, things like that. But I know I spent the majority of the weekend installing shelves in the garage to inventory out all that stuff, so that took me quite some time. But alright, now then, on our Iron Maiden, pretty much all the other bits. But I'm excited because I ordered all the packaging stuff, all of the stickers, all of the class certificates, all that stuff got ordered this weekend once I finalized the graphic design sort of aspect of it all. Sydney helped me out with that, which I was thankful for. So all that got squared away. So got a little bit of silver there on the red, no big deal. But yeah, like I said, I love this skeleton key color. It's such a good metal. It's got such good hue to it. It's that sort of bluish tint, bluish gray tint, a nice steel color. And then if you apply a wash to it, it actually shifts quite a bit in terms of the tone. So if you apply like a brown wash to it, so let's say you're using like an Agrax, a brown liner, a strong tone, something like that, you actually get a pretty weird reaction. It looks a lot more worn than you would expect because of the blues in the hue really make it shift into a weird direction. Not that that's a bad thing, you just sort of should expect it if you've never used Skeleton Key before. I'm going back and hitting the sides here. The horizontal bars don't really have a lot of depth to them, so I wouldn't worry about that too much. Too. And again, if you guys are joining late, I know we said something previously, but if you did buy this kit, depending on when you ordered it, you are missing a miniature guaranteed. So remember, you will email help@reapermini.com, and you'll say, help, I got the mechanical dungeon kit, help me. And they'll go, can we have your address, please? So sorry. And it will be sent to you in plenty of time. Really, you have a week. So, I mean, you could wait until, you're really risking it, but you could wait until like next Friday to send that email, and it should probably show up sometime on Monday. But remember, we have 2 weeks. Next week we're painting the NPC, Duke Gerard, whatever. And then the week after is when we're doing that Metal Hero miniature, which some of you will be missing. So keep that in mind. Sorry for the heartache. I found out when I opened my kit today. So I was like, ugh, ugh, ugh. Oh no. And then I got messages, and I was like, oh no. But it's all good. Everybody will be taken care of. Boom. Alright, so now I just need to do this little bottom part here. Nice and messy all across the stone base. See, that's how you know you're doing a good job. Alright, let that dry. Okay, so, oh, no, we're almost there. We're almost there. I'm juggling too many miniatures today. 3 for 1. Alright, so now I'm going to take the skeleton key again here. And we'll go ahead and do all of the metal bracket work on our yoga table. Our wonderful Pilates table here. Let's see. No other metal anywhere other than this top portion. Now, what I thought was strange was when I did this, I painted that as if it was wood, and I think it is, but I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and paint the part around the rope. No, I think it's all wood. I mean, this part coming out here is wood. We'll just paint it the same way I painted it previously. And then, of course, you have your sort of metal, whatever it is. It's the ring around the metal bits to make the circle to hold them all together. I am not a woodworker. I do not know the carpentry terms here required to describe what I'm looking at, other than the bit that you turn that hurts. And then I will go ahead and add some paint on the little part that I was holding the whole thing with. And then we'll start working on all of our washes. Oh, looks like we have a new sacrifice. So 07 Joe Furcy? Jafurcy? I want to call you 007. We're going to call him 007. Everybody in the chat say, hey, 007. I think we got a new person here. Welcome.
Oh, 07?
Oh, 07. How are you? All right. So now things are going to take a little bit of a drastic shift here as we start doing things that we haven't done before. So I'm going to go ahead and grab our gunmetal blue here as I use my little vortex mixer. Buzz. Also coming soon to the website. Gosh, I feel like I've been doing too many things at once recently. Where's my pokey tool, man? Gosh, look at this. It's been a while. Is this a new Reaper stream? No, it's been going on for 7 months now, almost 8 months. But so coming up on the website, I'm also putting together a painting index page that explains every single term used in painting, what it means, and where applicable, there will be a short 1 minute or less video of me demonstrating what that is. So if you hear someone saying, I'm going to glaze this, or you should glaze to this, or whatever the term is, right? It'll have a definition of what that means and a short video showing what that means. all the way from like glazing to overbrushing to what pinning would be, what materials you need to pin. Pretty much it is all of the miniature painting terms that are confusing out there because, you know, as with most hobbies, people just kind of call things whatever makes sense, and people, you know, because of the naming conventions of certain products, right? Like you can buy a wash, you can buy a shade, right? You can do all of those things. But really it's talking about the same verb type of idea. So that'll be up and available at some point soon. Hopefully by the time the hobby at home classes are available, and that'll be a free resource for people to go to kind of look up information and find products that'll work. So what I'm doing is I'm making our wash consistency out of this nice metallic paint. I know, crazy. We definitely never do that. Please add winch. Nah, we're not gonna do that. We're not doing that. We're only doing actual miniature painting terms. But the difference there too is everything I'm going to be talking about is based from the perspective of like actual art, fine art. So, you know, I'll be using terms that people in the art world use, people that have a fine arts education would use, and not just necessarily like, you know, hobby magic, even though that's definitely a part of it. All right, so now we've got our wash here, this deep blue metallic, and we're going to be putting it all over everything, just like this. Now then, mine is still a little bit thick, so I'm going to add water to it. What you're looking for is for it to run into the cracks of all of our colors here, all of the nice little plates on the body. This color is going to look really beautiful washed on top of our skeleton key, of course, because it matches the hue of skeleton key. On the red, of course, it's pretty dramatic because we're layering a blue on top of a red, but it's okay. We're just going to let it go into all the recesses. And I'm just adding more water to the brush as I do this to make sure my consistency is what I'm expecting it to be. Like I said, too, this is a ton of metallic flake. So if you're using a brush that you care to keep metallic free, definitely swap over now. I'm just using a big old dang brush that I don't use for anything that really matters. But, of course, if you are a miniature painter and you don't have brush cleaner, you're in trouble with me. Make sure you own some type of brush cleaner. You can check out all of the materials that I use every single day when I'm teaching other people how to paint. You can do !Josh's Things with an apostrophe here in the chat, and you'll be linked to my Amazon shop where you can pretty much see everything. Of course, if you can buy something locally or if you can buy something cheaper elsewhere, feel free to do it. But if anybody buys anything off of that Amazon page, or if you just do your regular Amazon shopping in general, they will toss me a few pennies, and that makes a huge deal or a huge difference in my life. So I appreciate everybody that's been doing that and continues to do that. You guys are great. But, so we're just washing this all over the miniature. I'm almost finished. You can see we're just adding in a bunch of definition, simulating a nice shadow. Alright, so I'm pretty much happy with that. And we'll set him down as he continues to dry. Make sure to get underneath the legs and all those hard to reach places you would need a loofah for. There we go. Justin doesn't use a loofah though. He uses aluminum foil. All right, so
yeah, cover. No. I take a pine cone and cover it in aluminum foil.
That's hilarious.
When was the last time you saw a pine cone?
Damn. Is this a conspiracy that's happening now? That's a good question. Alright, so now I'm taking our wash and I'm applying it all over the Iron Maiden. Look at that. Look at that instant definition. Easy peasy. Easy peasy. Look at that. Boom, 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 boom. I was excited for this kit, though, because we've never really dealt... Like, we always have a metallic color that we use. That's almost always guaranteed. But we've never really dealt with, like, layering metallics on top of another one, using metallics to wash. You know, these are techniques that really people don't necessarily talk about, and sometimes, obviously, too, they don't work, right? If you watch Anne, I know she's talked about it before. I know Sadie has talked about it before on her show. Proctor, maybe. I don't know. I don't get to catch his show that often. But depending on the actual metallic color, sometimes the pigment separates from the flake, and you get like a weird, like, it's not going to work. That's why you don't want to mix them with water. But with darker pigments like this, or colored metallics, because they have the colored pigment mixed in, you can actually work with them in that way, and that's kind of an exciting thing. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get our good old trusty Noir Black out, and we're going to wash the table. I'm actually going to use separate water, so I'm just kind of like pouring it all over my palette like an absolute psychopath. There's like way too much water here now, but I don't want to use the water out of my paint cup. How did I make the wash with water? That's what you're watching right now. Just water. Hair conditioner. Wait, what are you talking about? Have I missed weird painting advice? Brush cleaner? See, not. That's gross. You're in trouble. You're a professional artist, so shame on you for even saying that. You need to work up some brush care. Here we go. Yeah, I would just buy a brush cleaner. You're spending the same amount of money as you would if you were buying conditioner or something like that. The difference there is that it also has stuff mixed in that will pull out acrylic, which is why you want it. It'll also pull out it'll pull out anything but oil, right? But in a pinch, if you want to like deep moisturize your brushes, you can do a leave-in hair conditioner if you wanted to, but it's not going to clean your brush correctly. You can also use like beard butter and beard conditioner. That works too because it has so much oil in it that will help the actual follicles in the brush. But that's only if you use a natural bristle brush. Otherwise, doesn't matter. So if you're using a synthetic, just clean it out. All right, so taking our Noir Black, I'm just gonna put it all over, grab more water, and move it around. That way it'll go into all of the recesses of the nicely sculpted wooden planks. Make sure to get it all over the metal bits. And we're gonna go back to, we're gonna add some different tints into our wood, but this is probably the easiest part of our paint job today. We're just making this thing dark, bringing out the contrast here. Who cares? It's a torture table. Sorry, it's a Pilates table for all of your dungeon exercise low impact needs. Actually, Pilates is anything but low impact. It's actually brutal. It is a brutal workout, but I only know because I went to a class when one of my friends had a Groupon and I had nothing better to do. And I wish I never did. So there you go. It's not good for husky-sized painters, I'll put it that way. Alright, wash down everything, looking cool. We'll let that live over here. Oh, you just licked your brush? Terrible. Terrible. You beat the devil out of the brush. That works as well. So Strange 79, no. Actually, like, almost no paint companies sell paint cleaners, which is interesting. But yeah, really what you're looking for is you're looking for Masters Brush Cleaner. There's also, like, Rainbow Unicorn, Magic Unicorn. I don't know the name of it. Whatever. There's, like, one brand out there that's sort of mom and pop brand. You can purchase that as well. I like the Masters Brush Cleaner. I think it's, like, or it's Mona Lisa. I forget the name. You can check the Amazon shop. I have a tub on there that's like the size of a giant thing of Country Crock. And if you're a miniature painter, buying it one time will last you probably, unless you're like me, the rest of your entire life. You should never run out of it. So Masterson, or what is it? Oh, sorry, Winsor & Newton also makes a brush cleaner. And it is literally crazy. It will destroy your brushes. So, like, let's say, check this out. This is actually the best way to put it. So where's a crap brush? This is an absolute trash banana brush right here. This guy has been beaten to, actually, guys, look, this was an expensive brush. We're just retiring it. It is now retired. Everybody put F's in the chat. Rest in peace. The brush has served me well. Don't worry, this is going to go on my brush altar. We will use all of its spirit in the rest of our painting. For those of you that asked about the brush altar, that was a part of the eBay auction. I'm now making 5 more brush altars, and those will be available at some point too. But, so, if you are using the Winsor & Newton brush cleaner, guess what? It's going to completely remove all of anything that exists over here. It's going to get it squeaky clean. If the brush cleaner touches anything above the metal ferrule, it's going to melt it. So just keep that in mind. It's literally going to destroy your brushes if you let it get anything further than this area. What I do when I use that brush cleaner, which I do occasionally use, what I do is I take sticky tack, blue tack, whatever you want to call it. I rim the inside of a very short, shallow cup, and then I shove my brushes in to where if this is the bottom of the brush, they're almost there, and then I fill it up and I just let them sit there and condition in it. So we'll get rid of our fallen soldier here. Move on to a better brush. But that essentially is the MO and the method that I use. And then people are asking too, like brush conditioner, whatever. If you buy the brush cleaner that I have listed on the Amazon site, it is a conditioner as well. You just leave it in the brush. So like, you know, once you're finished with it, you would then just sort of twist the brush, leave it in there, and then the next time you paint, you just wash it out ahead of time and you're good to go. So I'm waiting for our wash here to dry. I'll probably bring in the help of my airbrush to get us there faster. But yeah, it's a 2-in-1 product when it comes to brush cleaner. So I'm just using my airbrush here to speed the painting process. Did I say painting process? I'm in drying process. Whatever, you get what I'm saying. I'm in pain right now. I was at the dentist earlier, and now my teeth are hurting. I have to deep clean my airbrush too because, do I have a separate channel to see the items? Yeah, you just can somebody do the Amazon link in the chat for me, please? Somebody be a hero to help me out. Exclamation point Josh's things with an apostrophe. But I need to clean out my airbrush because I was using that color shift paint through it, and that is hard to get out of your airbrush, so I really got to clean it. Thank you, Sharky.
Speaking of which, Josh, I got to see the big, I guess, stock of the airbrushes we have at the Reaper today.
Oh, the Vexes?
Yeah.
Is it like 100?
I didn't count them, but I think it's something like that. Maybe more. I don't know.
I would assume it's about 100. Because I wouldn't imagine selling. So here's, so I was suggesting that airbrush to someone who doesn't already own one earlier today, if they're just gonna wait to get one. But because that's kind of the thing, right? It's you're releasing, not you, but I would say Badger. So like their sort of mindset behind it. And of course I'm just assuming this, but because you're selling a entry level and a higher level airbrush built into one. So if someone like myself, I already own multiple airbrushes that sort of do what this new one's going to do. But for people that are brand new, it's a huge value because you're not having to, one, learn the hard lessons of taking out a nozzle, potentially losing it, bending the needle, whatever, right? Or purchasing 2 different airbrushes because you want to do 2 different things. So it's awesome in that regard. So like for me, everyone always asks me, are you going to buy one? The answer is no, unless someone gives me one for free. But it's because I've already spent hundreds of dollars on airbrushes, so I don't need, that utility. But for people that have been waiting this whole time, right, and you've been wondering, well, maybe I should buy an airbrush, maybe I shouldn't, or if you're someone that has purchased one of the, super Vaseline is good to store your brushes, do not put Vaseline on your natural stable brushes, please. No, never do that, ever, period. Do not put it in that. Everyone just ignore that comment completely. Moderators, delete that comment. Do not put natural brushes in Vaseline. But if you have synthetic, who cares? It's just a synthetic brush. But if you're new and you bought like a super cheap airbrush off eBay or from Wish or whatever, right? Like one of the metal generic ones from China, great time to upgrade whenever that airbrush comes out. So definitely keep an eye out whenever it happens. But you can see here that we've dried our wash now. You see the actual like lighter metal flakes. Those are coming out of the wash that we applied. But you can see this awesome, super shiny effect that we're getting on the skeleton key. If you are someone who does any painting with me at all, typically, you know whenever we apply a wash. So if we compare, actually, best example possible, the silver that's here, the skeleton key that's here on the left, we've done the typical noir black wash on. Compared to the skeleton key on the right, you can see it's so much more vibrant and shiny. It's because we're washing with a metallic color. So just keep that in mind, depending on the type of paint job that you're doing. If you want something to be super duper bright and shiny, keep that in your wheelhouse. You also could do a gloss coat underneath, but that obviously requires a little bit more work. And I'll show you if I can pull it real quick. Here we go. So, and it's funny too, because when you apply washes to things, you are removing a lot of it. So, I know, hiss boo, Games Workshop miniatures, but so if you look at the metallic that I have on the left versus the metallic I have on the right, you can see how drastically different certain post-application treatments will do to your metals. So that's just something to keep in mind, right? On the right, it's been dulled down a lot through a matte medium and a just sort of quick wash. On the left, it hasn't been diluted at all, and it's on top of a gloss primer application. So the metals pop like crazy. And you can see that it is super similar in brightness. Obviously, we don't have as many different hues on the right, but it's similar because we've applied a wash that is in metallic. So keep that in mind whenever you're sort of playing around with paint jobs in your head and you're trying to figure out cool things to do. That's always just a technique that will work for you. So now then, let's go ahead and start highlighting up all of our red scales. So would normal hair conditioner, yeah, as long as you're not using it to like clean your brushes, if you're using it just to try and preserve your brushes and keep them nice and happy, that will work just fine. But you never want to like cake your brush in something and then just like store it. If it's a natural brush. If it's a synthetic brush, whatever. I mean, those brushes only last so long. Now then, what we're going to do is just start layering. Same way that we would typically apply our highlights. The only difference here is I'm pretty much over brushing. So I'm just pulling down from the top. Similar to dry brushing. The only difference here, I'm over brushing, which is not done with dry paint. The reason I'm doing that is because I want to have more coverage here. I could take the time and paint up every single scale individually, but we could be going through and like, all right, I'm gonna do this scale, this scale, this scale, this scale, this scale, this scale, but you still get the same effect by just taking your brush at like a 45, 35 degree angle and just pulling it down in the direction you want to do that highlight. So you can see now in the recesses, we've got all that cool stuff. Oh, thanks. The magnifying. Yeah, I think you're talking about the goggles. I actually have my pair literally sitting in here. I was using them all weekend to do some painting. But I only typically use them on things that I need to have a very, 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 very nice paint job on. And in this instance, it was an octopus. Crazy enough. So again, we're just overbrushing as we work our way down. Now then, I'm not applying it towards the knees, the bottom of the belly, right? That's a shadow. So we just want that to remain as dark as it is, so that way it's nice and dark and it looks like we've got some contrast going on there. Top of the front of the leg, though, I am going to apply a highlight there. Back of its, I don't know, is this the ankle? That's not the ankle. Is it its reverse double jointed knee? I don't know the term for that. I'm not a bovine anatomist, okay? Now, if I went to a doctor and he gave me a physical, that doctor would be a bovine anatomist, but I'm not, so I don't know the term for that. Are you appreciating the rare mood today, Justin?
Yes. Oh, 100%. I'm also digging the red metallic on that. That looks really good.
Yes. Because, yeah, when I saw this, miniature, and I mean, most people have probably seen this Reaper Mini because it's been around forever. And you look at it and you're like, all right, it's a brass bull, cool. I'll paint it brass. I'll put a wash on it. I'll put a bunch of rust on it. Like, this miniature just makes sense, right? You look at it, you know how you're going to paint it. And so then I'm like, all right, well, what could I do with it that's completely sort of out there in terms of what you would expect? And I was drinking a beverage that is exactly what we're painting. And I was like, wait a minute. Maybe we'll just paint it red. And that's when I started looking for ruby red. And that's what we landed with. Then, sort of the trade-off there is, okay, well, if we're doing a colored metal, what's a good contrast color, temperature-wise? Obviously, I'm dealing with red, so I want to deal with blue. Boom, skeleton key, made the most sense. Right? Oh, big red. Well, M. Grunig, kinda. But, no Cheerwine. Yeah, there's not. But, so then, that's what hit us with the skeleton key. And then I'm like, okay, so now we've got a nice warm color contrasting with a nice cool color. So what accent can I use with skeleton key that would make the most sense? Well, since it is a sort of regular metallic, silver-based metallic, that means if it's going to rust orange. Boom, that's where the selection for lava orange came in. So whenever I'm sitting there and kind of figuring out the paint palettes for all the kits that we put together, that's really sort of the thought process that goes in my head. I look at the miniatures. It's the heel, not the knee. Thank you. That makes sense. But that's what I do. I sit there, I look at the miniature, and I start thinking about the color temperatures and the color theory behind it. Remember, I don't sell physical versions of the periodic table of painting anymore, or the power-up palettes, anything like that. Not because I don't think they're good. They just stop selling whenever convention season stops, so I just don't care about it anymore. That being said, you can buy a digital version of the periodic table of painting. You get a PDF, and it is high quality, print quality, so you can send that off to a print shop, get it printed however you want, and you can put it up on your wall. But I do sell a color theory tool that is available for you if you have problems with that. If you don't understand the color wheel, if you don't understand things like that, there are different formulas based on it. If you know what the periodic table of elements look like, just think about that, but for color, and it works out pretty well. Is there a laser video under Reaper Twitch of the core starter set? I don't think the answer to that is yes. Past?
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yes. So if you're talking about their learn to paint kits, no. I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, every single Miniature Monday kit that we do, those videos are always available for as long as they're allowed on Twitch, but they're also on the Reaper YouTube page as well. That's kind of where they live for people to go back and do the classes later on if you're buying a kit that has been taken down because there are so many videos on the Twitch. Now then, on the Iron Maiden, taking the same color, I'm focusing on applying it first up underneath wherever we have sort of these different panel sections. Sorry, I should say the top of each panel. And then just layering it down and tapering it towards the middle so that we get a nice gradient for a highlight. Now then, because this color has so much regular pigment in it, you can actually taper and layer. So that's what I'm going to do here, is just taper our way down towards the middle of the section, and check that out. You have this awesome gradient, and it's a metallic color. Wowee, I know. It's not really something you consider doing most of the time when you're a painter because it's a metallic paint, and you just can't do it so simply. But that is what the Reaper metallics are good for, the colored metallics. Oh, look at that. I got a little bit where I shouldn't have. There we go. But yeah, you can layer with the colored metals pretty easily. Look at that. And it's metallic the whole way. Look at the nice shine. What color red? It's ruby red. I'm pretty sure. Have I been saying it right now? It's ruby red. 9101. Remember, it is available in the kit if you buy the kit. You get all the colors that we're using. Other than, of course, Noir Black. Those are in our core color kit, but I'm assuming everybody that's a miniature painter has those paints available to them in their collection. A black, a white, brown, base silver, base gold. So now I'm going back and I'm doing the exact same little move here. Same dance, different area. Boom, look at that. Is it an older version of a Dalek? Yeah, probably. So strange, the kits are always $40. And what's funny is they're always worth more than $40 for sure. And then there's no price on the actual lesson that you're getting, right? So I think that's kind of, if you go on my website and you see how much I charge for private lessons and individual one-on-one tutoring, I would say the value here is pretty amazing. But of course, it's all person to person as to what helps you most with your miniature painting journey. But, you know, I think the challenge for most people whenever they start buying the kits and they want to paint along with me, one, they're smacked immediately with the, oh wait, I looked down for a second and now he's totally in a new section just because I'm very quick. So then it turns into a fun little thing where they have to try and keep up with me or see how fast they can get. What's funny is with the Patreon stuff, I have my advanced level courses that I'm doing now. And it's funny because, you know, the people that got real, you know, I have patrons that have been on the Patreon for over 2 years. And so they're at the point now to where they can keep up with my sort of advanced paint-alongs that we do every single month. And they can paint with me one-to-one typically at the speed of which I paint. And then now that we're doing the box art paint-along videos, they immediately are like, oh my god, I can't keep up. So I think that's kind of the challenge for everybody beyond any sort of the standard technical differences between the way I apply paint to some other painters out there. Little nuances like that. But you can see we're layering this back again. The larger back panel. If you had problems or you're intimidated by doing one of those smaller front panels first, just do this back side because it's so much bigger. You have much more room to taper. You don't have to be as concentrated and as smooth. But check that out. You get a nice bright gradient. Looking really cool. And then, of course, the Hobby at Home classes that I'll be releasing in August. Those are a little bit different. They do not come with any paint, but the color palette, I mean, you're going to see, first of all, a completed version of the miniature or miniatures, depending on the class, that we're going to be painting, so you can see kind of what's going to be expected out of you. But then there's also a color palette that is released with all the information so that you know, okay, this kit, I need, you know, a dark red, I need whatever. And then the difference there is instead of coming with paints, the miniature for every single class comes to you fully assembled, fully primed, assembly, usually, other than sort of lower level intro classes, if it's a display level class, if it's whatever, it will also be pinned and we'll have green stuff done so that it is a perfect surface for you to work with. And then, of course, the reason why you buy the Hobby at Home kits, all of those miniatures are partially painted by myself for you. So for the classes that we're teaching advanced object source lighting, for the classes that we're teaching competition level non-metallic metal, all of those different techniques, you will have parts of the miniature that are already prepared. Typically you'll get one section that's at 50% of the way painted, and then you'll get another section that is 100% of the way painted. So that way when you're working through the Hobby at Home classes, it's just as if you were with me in person at a convention or at the private ateliers that I host, which obviously right now are impossible because of the current situation. But you know, without a doubt, exactly in front of you, exactly what you are supposed to be painting. There's nothing else like it on the market. No one else is even attempting to do the craziness that I like to attempt. So just keep that in mind. Those are going to be, hands down, the best, most luxurious, highest quality at-home painting lessons you can possibly buy, because I'm doing some of the work for you. So that's kind of the difference. I can't offer paint, but I can offer my painting to get you across some of those hurdles. The first kits that are going to come out, I'm going to have a more advanced level kit, and then we're going to have a complete basic tabletop kit, because that's been one of the most requested things for me. The tabletop kit is going to come with 3 miniatures, which is nice because it'll allow you to get more practice on some of those basic techniques. And then the advanced kit is going to be a box art level kit, and it's just going to be nuts. I already know the miniature we're doing, so it'll be really, really fun. But remember, all of those kits are limited to 10 students per class, and that's it. So they will sell out and they will be dead forever. I've got currently 37 kits planned out and all the materials here at the house. So if I do intend to double up on some classes, I will do that in the future when it's appropriate. But the plan is now one and done. And, they all come with little, box number 2 of 10, 3 of 10. So you can try and always get lucky number 7 if you care about those things. And then if you buy 4 of the classes, you can trade in 4 little vouchers that come in there, and you get a free private lesson, which costs $200. So congratulations. That's another reason to keep purchasing and keep supporting. But all right, now then, I got out some more skeleton keys, so we can go back and highlight up all of the different areas that have skeleton key as well. In the Hobby at Home kits, will the paints come from the same limited palette? Yep. The answer to that is yes. In my professional and personal painting life, I only use 32 colors. And on the Patreon, I let all the Patreon people know exactly what colors I own, so that way, if you care to be on the same page, you can be on the same page. I used to be one of those people where, I had so many paints, 200. I think the painting setup that I had at one point, I had over 280 paints in front of me at any given moment to select from. And as my painting evolved, as I kept doing more and more commission work and all of that nasty business that requires, I realized, at least for me, doing a ton of colors like that all the time didn't make as much sense, and I could push myself further as an artist to kind of hone it down. So any of the Hobby at Home stuff will just be, out of that list of 32. But really, it's nothing crazy. If you think about all the primary colors and you take a dark color, a middle color, and a light color of every primary color, you get about 28 colors. Add some metallics in there, and my favorites like rust brown and phthalo green, then that's pretty much it. So it's nothing like revolutionary in terms of my color selection. It's just kind of paring down, kind of like how, geniuses and billionaires really only wear like the same color all the time, or like they'll wear the same suit every day or the same t-shirt every day. That's kind of the idea, right? If I only allow myself to do so many colors at once, then I'll be a little bit faster and a little bit more confident in my color selection while I'm painting. So, but free private lesson. I don't think I'm good enough for a private lesson. Well, Terry, so you guys can go to minipainting.studio/free, and you can actually see one of the $10 miniature painting classes off of Patreon. The only difference between sort of what you're seeing there, it's like a free 2-hour video if you want to see. Remember, just go to minipainting.studio/free. There you go. It's painting the stone giant carver. The paint job turns out sweet at the end. But sort of the way that private lessons work is you either pick a miniature for us to both paint, or you go over a topic that you want to discuss. So I can either do a demonstration, or we work on the same miniature at the same time. Or I've also had some people have me just do conceptual stuff. So I've done color theory classes before. I've done visual memory, visual learning classes before. I've done all kinds of different things with people to help them in their miniature painting journey. But, really when it comes to the private stuff, it's if you are just completely stuck on something, or if you want me to demonstrate something and just help you one-on-one, that's what that's really good for. But you can always get a preview of Patreon stuff by going to minipainting.studio/free. And you can check that out there as well. And I also don't do any content locking of my work. I'm not one of those Patreon people that doesn't believe in recording anything. When you join the Patreon, you're already thrown at this point, it's 70 plus hours of classes that you immediately gain access to. So, a lot of people, what they do is they look at the classes that are available on the Patreon and they go, I'd like to check that one out. I'd like to check that one out. That's worth $10 to me, 12 hours worth of content. And then they hang around typically for a long time, because then you get caught into the vicious cycle of, oh man, but next week we have another video. you know, if you're at the $5 level, you already get a class every month. If you're at the $20 level, for example, you're getting 12 hours of video, so it shoots up quite a bit. But I'm one of the very rare miniature painters that went through hell and back of, you know, trying to do commission painting full time, and then I've now successfully gotten out of that vicious crabs in a bucket nightmare to now I'm just teaching people how to paint and enjoy their hobby. And so I'm able to offer a little bit more than some of the other folks out there, just because I'm at a place where I've got enough people to where my time is better spent doing a ton of that. But now that onto the Iron Maiden, really the only thing I'm concerned with highlighting up, because we're going to do a bunch of weathering on it, is just this big old shiny forehead right here. I just want this to be nice and shiny. It's like Justin's big, gigantic 5 head. He has the biggest 5 head I think I've ever seen. What's fun, he really doesn't. I know you guys have never seen Justin, but he's a normal looking human. Other than the extra arm, it's fine. But, you know.
I do have an extra arm. Yep.
Yeah. So if you keep going on with these Miniature Monday kits, we run out of colors that you want to include. Not really. You know, essentially, it's 8 colors per kit, 1 kit a month, you know, typically 12 kits a year, 12 times 8, subtract that out of the 600 Reaper paints. You know, this show already is going to be going at least for a full year, because we're finishing up Q1 2021, which is amazing. So big round of applause to everybody that supports the kits. Big thank you to Reaper, right? We've actually, Justin knows specifically that we've been through some stuff with the Miniature Monday kits so far, but we've survived a year pretty much. And you know, if it continues for 2 years, that's amazing. 3 years, that's even cooler. Once we get to, I think the numbers start getting weird at the 4-year mark or whatever, I'm not too concerned when you get there, because at that point, like, what, you know, I'm assuming more people are going to be not buying kits because they're not available, right, from January of last year, if it's, 2 years ahead. So I can go back and start recycling colors from old kits that are no longer being sold, etc., etc. So eventually the cycle kind of just resets itself, and we don't have to worry about it all that much. But now then, onto our Pilates table. I'm going to go back, highlight up some of these parts here. Wait, that's the finished one. I'm an idiot. Here we go. All right, back to our Pilates table. I saw the rust there. I was like, wait a minute, we've already done this one. Here we go. I'm just doing the high points, nothing crazy. All right, so now we have one more trick for our metallic. You may notice the difference with this. We have that really deep ruby red, and then on this one, it's more of a nice, like, golden, warm red, and it's because we applied the dragon bronze on top. So go ahead and make a mental decision for yourself now. You can say either A, you know what, I like the deep red. Don't do what I'm about to do, right? You can just hang out for the next 5 minutes. But if you're like, you know what, I do want to try adding the gold bronzy sheen on top of my red, then here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and take our dragon bronze. I'm going to throw it through the vortex mixer. Buzz, 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 buzz. Put it down on palette land over here. We're going to shift our worldview. Look at this, our poor fallen soldier. Rest in peace. Should we give it a name? Drop names in the chat for our brush we retired today. And we'll go to the new area in the palette so we can see that. Dragon bronze. Dragon bronze is such a sweet color, though. That's the color that I used on the copper dragon. Let me show you that really quick. Yeet! Dragon bronze, actually, if I have to be honest, is probably my favorite Reaper gold color. Look at that. This is all dragon bronze. This really awesome color right here. And then, of course, a bunch of Reaper clears to do all the color shift and all that. Into the shadows, a bunch of purple, a bunch of magenta, a bunch of phthalo green, a bunch of regular green. All that fun stuff. I think there's even blue. Yeah, there's blue right here. No, sorry. That's phthalo green on top of purple makes blue. Weird, I know, but that's how it works out. But, so, dragon bronze. Now then, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my brush, and for the first time ever, I know, it's crazy. It's crazy, I know. Actually, so that dragon is an example of, some of the stuff I do in private lessons. That was a client that wanted to do a private lesson, and that's what we did. So, taking the dragon bronze now, dry brushing from the very top. I know, don't call the police. It is me. I'm not being held hostage. I know I hate dry brushing. I'm never a fan of dry brushing, but we're doing it today. And I'm just going to do the high points here. On the face. Top of the head. Side of the face. Oh, actually, you know what? I goofed. I mixed it with the red the last time I did it. We'll just make this one a little bit shinier. That's fine. You can mix the Dragon Bronze with the Ruby Red if you'd like. This time I'm just going a little bit brighter. As we typically do, it seems, for the show. Everything's a little bit brighter, has more contrast. Or we just add glowing eyes. This time around, I don't think we need to add glowing eyes, but... Boom, so there you go. Added that contrast in, so now it's got this nice sort of color shift happening on its body. Clean that off. Now then, we're heading back to Washland, USA. I'm going to go ahead and grab Lava Orange so we can start doing some rust. Now, we're going to have to do this in multiple layers, and I'll sort of talk through how it exactly works. But the first pass is always kind of your washing it into the recesses section. The second pass is you're using the paint directly. Sorry, I need a drink. I'm just gonna have a water break here, guys. Let's take a little water break. Just slowly losing.
What's that on the end of your straw?
It's like a little rubber end that you put on your metallic straw so you don't accidentally like hit the straw into your tooth and chip your tooth or like bite down or anything like that.
Oh.
Yeah, I started using the metal straws and I became like addicted to them because it keeps you like everything you're drinking is super cold. It's weird. I don't know. It's like it even keeps it colder when you drink through a metal straw. But I kept like bumping into my teeth and it like really was freaking me out that I'm going to chip my teeth or something. And so then Sydney had some of these and I think we got more and now we just put them on the end of all of them and it fixed the issue. It's for your safety. It's for your health. All right. We're going to take Lava Orange here. New Palladia. And we're going to turn this into a nice little wash consistency. Typically 2 parts water, 1 part paint. And now then, I'm just going to start going into all these different recess areas. Now, I'm not just slamming my brush all over the metal here. I'm you know, consciously trying to put it in between each of the little plates. The areas that it's going to be very thin and just kind of look like a real sad blotch of paint, that's where we go back in and manually apply the paint afterwards. So that way it looks like it's built up. Looks nice and rusty. I am trying to avoid getting it onto the red portions of the bowl. It just kind of gets lost in the sauce. I had to repaint part of the other miniature for the photos because I got it into the red and it just didn't make any sense. It wasn't going to work. But you can be really loose with it. You can be really just kind of doing your own thing. Apply as you will. Do a real heavy patch. Wipe it off with my finger. Whenever you're doing rust like this, it's really kind of a fun process because you can just apply it, wipe it off of the edges where it would be wiped off in general. Then on the horn, I did go ahead and do the inside portion of the horn there. I'm just pushing my brush in the direction I want it to kind of pool up like that. And then let's go ahead and just do the back of the head with the neck. On the hooferinos, I'm going to go ahead and do the connecting point there. And then just kind of go ahead and make a nice little drip there in between the little hoof, whatever, split between the 2 hoof parts. Did I say split between the hoof hearts? Hoof parts. I don't know if I joshed that one there, but same idea on this side. Just going in and putting our rust. Easy peasy. You guys can do this. This requires no finesse, just confidence. In your head, all you gotta do is go, hey, I'm doing Rust right now. And then you just do this, and it looks like Rust. No real trick. You just gotta believe in it. This hoof down here. Now then, while this application dries, what I'm gonna do is our Pilates table. So we'll let that first application hang out. Grab the Pilates table. Same idea. Oh, hi, Garrus. Hi, puppy. Hi, doggo. We got Garrus a bone the size of his head today. He didn't know how to handle it. He was like, what do I do with this? And I'm just going to put it randomly on our metallic parts here. Okay, let that dry. Grab the Iron Maiden. The Iron Maiden, I'm avoiding the face. You can put it on the face if you want. But I'm just kind of going into some of the different areas here. And letting the orange wash in. You know, it's funny is Sydney sends me pictures while I'm in here. So enjoy the photo she just sent me here. So this is her cat, Tally. And we got her this new, like, funny little cat hammock. Here we go. Here she is. This is the position she's in. I don't even know what I'm looking at. Can you even see what you're looking at? Just a mess of hair.
I realize now I need a cat hammock.
Oh my god, both Arthur and her love it to death. They just get in it and pass out. And then don't forget as well with some of these. Oh, actually, no. Don't hit the round portions. The little round buttons we're using LED blue to do a different color with, different little weird rust effect. But so you can see, I'm just kind of putting it up in and around the face. And then now just going and putting it around some of the little edge parts, the hinge. And remember, this application isn't our final application for the rust. This is just sort of us blocking in where we want it to exist. Oh, I guess I gotta put it down here. And there you go, see? So difficult. Alright, so now, if we compare these two, the one on the left is what we just did, and you can see we have this like real crappy looking, super transparent kind of gross orange, and then on this side we have a way more built up orange. Now what we're doing is we're taking the lava orange directly, and I'm just stippling, which just kind of means dotting the brush in and shoving the paint around into the recesses where it was applied first time to build up the opacity there to make it less transparent and more direct in-your-face rust. And that's what I'm doing now. We're just going to rustify it up. I was reading an article about how they found some microbes, or it's like, I don't want to say it's a virus. I don't remember what it is, but they found some little tiny organisms that actually eat metal. They finally proved it. So I would assume in D&D, if you were a druid, you could technically garner control over those microorganisms and then destroy the mechanical bull here, but or whatever role-playing system you prefer. I don't know, man. I had to cancel my D&D game this weekend because I didn't have enough time to do anything, and I still didn't complete the things I needed to complete, but that is pretty much how life goes. So now back around the hooves. I'm just doing some little drips here. down the side of the hoof, down around the base. You know what? We didn't even do the back hoof. I feel like a big old dummy. Did I do it on that side? I did. So I'm going to take my wash consistency here and just kind of pretend we did. Alright, going back on this side. Go. Pushing our rust in to the recesses. And I'm just going to apply a bunch over here. Just a big old sloppy mess. And I'm just going to rub my finger there. Same thing on this back part of the tail. Rub it off the top edges. And there we go. So now we've got some serious rust built in. If we compare it to the other guy, you can see that's exactly how we were headed in that direction. And then we'll go back to the Iron Maiden. Same thing. I had to let Sydney know the dog needs to use the bathroom. I know. She'll come get you. I know. When you go potty. I know. I know. I get it. You can't do it in a box like the cats. A little bit more complicated. Alright, so just intensifying the rust in the areas where we had it before. There you are. Cool beans. And then just for fun, I'm going to take LED blue. Boop, boop. Make sure it's mixed well. This color has a very interesting transparency, I'll put it that way. First time I was using it, I was kind of like, is there even pigment in here? But I just don't think I shook it enough. It's before I had my mixer. There we are. And then I'm just going to take the color, just for fun, and add it around some of the little studs here. It's a nice little alternate rust tone. Some kind of different oxidization. Let's see. I don't have any water mixed in there. Since we are dealing with red metal, I just see him running back and forth through my window. When he goes outside, he loses his mind. He just like runs laps in our tiny little backyard. And, I mean, I'm not even kidding. That backyard we have now is like, it's probably 10 feet by 15 feet. It's so small. It's like a room. But we took him to my parents' house over the weekend, and he got to run like crazy. They have a huge backyard. Let's go ahead and drip some of this way further down the body. Like so. Alright, I'm happy with that. Then really the last thing we need to do today is just highlight up our bench. So, taking the intense brown, we're going to overbrush it again. And I'm just going to be working this brush in from the outside edges. Like so. You can dry brush, whatever you want. I'm just doing the overbrushing so I can get a little bit more coverage a little bit faster. It's kind of like cheating. The only cheating in art is not giving yourself enough credit. Is that a positive message? I think it is. Alright. So, dry brush that, and then now, going back in, we're going to highlight up the robe. But, so, the little secret here why we decided to paint up all of these today, specifically, was that so we could get caught back up on our release cycle, even though our kits aren't going to be tied to the months, right? I mean, it would get confusing if it was like, oh, it's the January kit from 2019, not 2020. Oh, 2021, right? Like, eventually you got to stop calling them by the month. And then if there ever is a change, we have a special kit. It doesn't have to be tied to that. So that's why the new kits are just named themes, right? The mechanical dungeon kit, etc., etc. So this allows us to get caught back up. It also allows us to begin the ReaperCon kit during ReaperCon. So that's very exciting. But that being said, next week we are going to be working on the Duke, which I've got him. Hold on. Duke, where you at? Where you at, Duke? Boop, boop. There he is. So we'll be working on the Duke. You can see him here. If you had to guess, yes, we used the exact same wash technique with the exact same dark color on top of our skeleton key to get our awesome metallic shades. That's why his armor is so bright, as we then go through and do everything else. And then, of course, our hero miniature here will be 2 weeks from now. If you did get the kit and she was missing for you, sorry, yet again, about that mix-up, but just go ahead and shoot an email over to help@reapermini.com, and they will send her your way with amazing speed. So, thanks so much for hanging out with us today. Do you have any general news for us, Justin?
Nope, nothing yet. Nothing
that was ominous.
Related. Well, I mean, there was some stuff we discussed today during the meeting that I would like to tell people, but I don't know if we're going to tell people yet. It's kind of cool.
Oh, the 50K giveaway?
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, I keep forgetting to remind people that yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway. But really though, no, there's nothing new right now.
Cool.
At this point, just check out Anne's show tomorrow morning at 11:30 Central, and then Proctor's at 4. Ron will be on the show tomorrow. He will be the one that Proctor is interviewing.
Oh, cool.
So if you guys want to know a little bit more about Ron, although you probably already know most, but if you guys would like to check that out, you can.
Sweet.
Thank you very much. I think we're gonna be rating. Actually, would you like to choose, Josh?
Yeah, I'm gonna play favorites here. Right, who's my favorite? Oh, can we raid Shoshi?
We can do that.
She hasn't been live in a while since we've been on here. Let me make sure she's painting. Yeah, right now I think, so she got, it's like a sponsored thing she's doing right now because she's been taking a break from streaming, so she's working on a really cool miniature that's from a Kickstarter previously. So yeah. Should be fun.
Oh, this is Josh Davis.
Oh yeah, hi, I'm Josh. From Mini Painting Studio.
That is true. I realize there might still be people who filter in that are fairly new.
Right? That's so funny we don't consider new people. But if you are new, make sure you hit that follow button on Twitch here. Remember, you can always find more about me at facebook.com/minipaintingstudio. You can go to my website, find everything you need there too. And yeah, we're here every Monday from 3 to whatever CST.
All right. Thank you guys so much. And keep being awesome, spread the Reaper love, and we will see you guys tomorrow morning. Thank you.
See you later, guys.